You open up an app and you see a personalized experience created for you. You go to Netflix and you see your favorite shows, and shows like your favorite shows already there on your home screen, right? You go to Amazon and they've already started curating products based on what you bought in the past. So I think there's no doubt, I guess, in any of our minds that the data that we're generating on digital uh, in millions of terabytes is now being put to hopefully significantly good use. There is always the dark side of data that we know exists. There's always a dark side of everything, but I think by and large, let me speak about the media industry. I mean, obviously, in media and marketing, data is becoming very, very critical for most brands in most categories, right? And there are very few categories where I think data is not a conversation today. In obviously digital first brands, the whole business model is built on looking at consumer data, analyzing consumer data, building more optimized consumer journeys, and improving return on ad spend, eventually improving overall ROI. We work a lot with the auto sector, and across the auto sector, given that the way consumers buy cars today has changed completely. Today, what we call as the research part of researching the car you want to buy, uh, the largest part of the journey happens online. So in the past, we used to go to different showrooms to see cars. Today, consumers are reading about the cars on reviews. They are watching videos done by professional auto reviewers. They are looking at content that has been pushed out there by car manufacturers. And only then they decide which two potential cars they're going to buy. So eventually, when you used to walk into 4 auto showrooms, now you walk only into 2 auto showrooms to buy a car. And therefore, for the auto manufacturer today, if he is not able to capture that audience before they come to that decision, then they've lost that audience. Because once you buy a car, you're not going to buy another car for the next 3 to 5 years. And that's where data is becoming super important, where you're constantly using multiple data sources to try and identify what is called as in-market audiences, people who are researching about cars, people who are actively watching content related to new car reviews. Interestingly, you can now also target people. Let's say, for example, if I look at telco companies, a lot of telco companies have what you call as the fast tag data. Now, when you have fast tag data, or like a Paytm has fast tag data, when you have fast tag data, potentially what what model the person owns, what is the age of that model. So now you can identify people who have cars which are 3 years plus in a particular segment, and therefore they're going to be in market for a new car potentially in the next 12 months. So I think as more and more data ecosystems get created and these data ecosystems start monetizing the data, the ability of businesses and marketers to use that data to improve business efficiency, conversions, improve sales, increase sales, improve customer experience is true across categories. And there are tons and tons of examples, but I'm going to pass it on to Anders, and I think you can talk about some of the experiences you've had and how data has been put to use.
Yeah, thanks, Andy. I mean, just because you also said it with Amazon at the beginning, today, even I actually, rather than going onto Google for searching and researching a product, I look at Amazon. And my preferred first choice, which I want to evaluate, who has bought it and who has also looked into other products. So what we also see is there's a tectonic shift also of customers, how they research what product and what service, of course, they are interested in. And that is, like you rightly say, not only limited now to the old historical offline way, but online. The moment we are opening our phone, we are leaving traces. These are linked to MEIDs. These can be further with cookies, all stitched together. And then, of course, also there's something we do in the offline world. We are not like avatars only on our phones. So in a consumer data company where you would now say, okay, how was it maybe a decade or longer ago, and how is it right now? You have to be fast moving also with your whole ecosystem of data sources. It cannot be territorial data anymore. It has to be really one-on-one information. You have to look also at, like you rightly say, there's a fast tag system, and suddenly over here the OSMs attached to opportunities, understanding who will be in the market, searching for a new vehicle. Now this is with phones, this is with also today in the BSFI sector. Zaid was mentioning that old historical model is that applications for financial products that are totally new to credit, new to banking, especially in the Indian market, are suddenly there in front of a bank and a lender, ask for money, but they don't have a credit score. Now, what are the alternate possibilities to do this? To either reject or even onboard? And with what risk do I onboard? Now, this becomes like we know previously, negative rated PIN codes, 19,000 PIN codes against 1.4 billion. That's not even a way we want to think of. But how do I understand over here somebody's now behavior? I have to stitch online, offline information together. I have to do it not on a territory. I have to know my person. I have to also look very much now into data privacy and also data compliance, with a lot of data privacy guidelines, which are in India drastically changing. I mean, the DPA is just around the corner with its regulations, and that's really right. So, and having also myself that experience of having this done abroad and being really part of this exciting journey in starting something like a consumer data company in India, I think also over a decade we have seen not only how working with data matures, but especially also what data makes sense and approaches which you have to take over here, because the reinventing, the way how consumers reinvent each other, so to say, and how fast that is. And also, like you say, suddenly there's a funnel which is getting very sharp. Out of previously 4 or 5 researchers, I'm left maybe with 2. In between, who are the 3 who lose that connection to this prospect? That is very, very demanding to be digital. Toward the other end, also be looking at carefully PII data and all the data privacy guidelines, and seeing customers and prospects one-on-one.